Hello friends, welcome to the shop. Today I'm going to start on a little project to repair my Forest River Wildwood FSX 170 SS. I did a previous video that showed the awful quality that's been coming out of the factory. I bought a brand new RV last year, that would be 2021. Over 6 months of that, well, actually 7.5 months of it, it's been sitting at Camping World waiting for repairs. It sat there all winter. Finally got it back. Took it in May 28th. Didn't get it back till 4.5 months later. And still stuff isn't right. Now let me just show you one of the problems that I asked them to fix. This is the medicine cabinet. And this corner had been dinged, smashed in from the factory. And what they did at the factory is they sent Camping World some of this contact paper. And rather than Camping World putting some filler in here and squaring that back up and then rewrapping it, all they did is put new wrap on it, and you can see it's really already starting to peel. And the back side, it's really hard to wrap. That really doesn't stick very well. You can see it coming off. And then when I examined this a little closer, hanging on the wall, I noticed, flip this over to the other side, I noticed that this bottom shelf had been completely torn out on both sides. Now that's stapled in from the top, and somewhere in this factory installation they managed to push out that side, and they managed to, where this is screwed into the wall at the bottom, they managed to kind of jack this up at an angle, so it's not even square. Now anyone who's ever made cabinets knows you should be gluing and screwing and using dowel rods or biscuits whenever you put things together. And you can see they have these squiggly type staples that they use to hold the rail and stiles together. They put some of this tape on here when they wrapped this side. Yeah, really, really crappy work. So what I'm going to do is tear this apart, salvage sides from the factory. You can see when they staple, they put some kind of filler in there, but it really doesn't match. And since I'm more of a perfectionist, I think what I'm going to do is just rebuild this whole thing. So what I've got is some white ash from a tree that I cut down years ago. I'm going to mill the rails and the stiles out of that, so I'm not going to bore you with all the process steps, of flattening rough sawn lumber. You can see that's got a little bit of a bow. But we'll do all new rails and stiles. We'll put that together with biscuits and glue and paint it, because I do have paint to match this color. And we'll see how that turns out. So stick around. with the rails and stiles measured and cut, we can now take and use a biscuit, and this is the smallest of 3 sizes. And we can mark our center lines to use the biscuit joiner to cut some slots. And we'll glue it up, and that'll be it for the face frame. Well, the next part of the project's peeling off this crappy tape that Camping World put on. You can see this middle shelf, how square that is. Runs from about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Well, once we're done rebuilding this, our shelves will be square for sure. But we're going to get in here with some screwdrivers and whatnot, pry these shelves out, take off the side panels, and then I'm going to look about re-gluing some of this stuff together. So before we paint this, we're going to apply some putty to the old nail holes, just to make sure everything is nice and flush. The next thing I'm going to do for the new bottoms are cut these side braces, and I won't have to cut all 4 notches. We'll figure that out later. So before putting the panels back up, what I'm going to do is modify some of these corners. This corner will get cut off here so that when this gets put up in place, this will just nest down. You don't have to do that on this side, it's already cut. And then I'll make a notch here and here for the middle shelf. That way I will be avoiding cutting any notches on these new shelves. Obviously those are the old shelves. Alright, so let's get cutting. Alright, to make things a little easier for assembly, I'm going to put this end piece on. Then we can use this to help determine where our middle shelf's going to be. Again, I'm avoiding staples and nails. Gluing things give me a lot more strength. And then I'll put a square on this so that it sets up square. We'll glue on our last corner. Okay. So with the side frames all put together, I can now place my middle shelf and mark cut lines. And then we can glue that in place. We can now glue the middle and the bottom to the face frame. And we'll secure those with a brad nail. So to secure the ends, I'll put a little bit of glue on my fingertip. And secure it with 2 nails. So this nailer goes up at the top. I've already made a little registration mark here, so I know where it needs to be positioned. Then I know where to bring my sides into. We can install these side nailers. don't have an extra set of hands for clamping, you gotta improvise. The next thing I want to do is make sure my door is properly centered, and then drill pilot holes for the screws before I paint. Well, now the fun starts. I'm going to paint the inside first, and then we'll flip it up and do the front and the sides. So I'm not going to bore you with 10 minutes of painting. We'll just skip to the end. All right, well, we're getting close to the end. It's been a fun little project. Got to salvage some of the parts, reuse other parts. But ultimately, this is a much better constructed, it's not furniture, but it's a much better piece of cabinetry than what Forest River is producing. So we'll let that dry, and then we'll install the door with the mirror and put it back in the RV. All right, we got our cabinet done, ready to reinstall. We're all done. I like the fact that the ash actually has a nice grain to it that you can kind of see. And this is the original vinyl coloring and covering, and it all matches. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing. And if you hit that like button down in the corner, you'll see my next how-to video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.